Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. Today is March the 11th, and I have some of my begonia bulbs here waking up from their winter slumber, and we had some back in February that were waking up that we already put in containers, and they're coming up for us just nicely. So this one right here is a non-stop red begonia. You can see it sprout right there. That's the white part. Now sometimes they'll be white, sometimes they'll be pink. This is the Santa Cruz Sunset one. It has a little teeny pink sprout down coming, and it was really hard to pick up on the camera on the video, so I'm going to put a picture in of it to show you what it looks like. So, and then I have one over here. This is another Santa Cruz Sunset. And this one is not waking up yet. So I'm going to show you how I get these to wake up then. So I'm just going to plant these up here real quick. I have my container here. I try and match the containers with the size of the bulbs. And I have my Stay Green potting mix in here. And I'm just going to, I have this about filled up halfway. And I'm going to just nestle the bulb down in. So, there we go. And I like mine about halfway in the container, so it gets a nice strong start. So I'm just going to cover this up here. Go. And I will water these then. So always label them. So if you don't label them, you're not going to know which ones they are. If they're really different, or if they're not really different, and it makes a mess. So I just label on mine. Now this one here is a pretty good sized one here. So I picked a pretty good sized container for it. And I'm just going to fill in over top of it here. And they'll push right up to the soil, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, I like to do mine up when they're starting to sprout. And if I have one that doesn't want to sprout, which that does happen sometimes, I have a method that I use for it. So I'm going to get some more soil, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And usually for my begonias, what I do is I mix Stay Green and Miracle-Gro together, half and half, and I plant them in that. But I'm saving my Miracle-Gro right now, so these will work just fine in here. Okay. And I don't fill my containers completely up to the top because I want to give them some a water reservoir so that when I put the water in, it doesn't all run out of the top of the container. So that's why I leave a space there. Okay. Now, we have this one here. Put him up into the light for you. Now this one does not want to wake up yet for us. He's still dreaming. So we're going to wake him up here. So I have my container here and I have it halfway, well it's not even halfway filled because this is such a massive bulb. And this is one that I started from seed years ago. So I'm sticking him down in the soil here. And I'm going to fill in around him some, but I'm not going to completely cover him. And I'm going to place it in a warm, well-lit area. And I am going to water it, but I'm not going to water the center here. I don't want water laying in the center of this. So I'm going to water around it. And the moisture is going to trigger the bulb that it's time to wake up. And this works pretty good. And I've even used containers like this already, which this one here needs cleaned out. But I've used containers like this already, and I've put the potting mix in them, and I put my tubers in that weren't sprouting yet, and I kept it nice and moist in a warm, well-lit area, and most of them did come up for me. I had a few that I lost just for, I don't really know what happened. Some of them, they dried out over the winter time, so you want to check and make sure your bulbs are, they're not drying out. You want to make sure that they're not soft or mushy, so that they're not rotting. And you want to make sure that they didn't dry out, which if you put pressure on them, they'll just crush in your hand if they did. So that's not a good thing, but it does happen sometimes. So I'm going to take these over to my growing area then, and I will water them. And I'm going to label this one here so I know who it is. And I will come back then and I'll show them to you, and I'll show you the other ones that I already have sprouting over there. And again, when I water this one here, I'm going to water around it. You don't want water laying in the center, because you will definitely rot them. And when this starts actually sprouting for waking up, I'll just take my soil and I'll cover over the top of it, and it'll be just like these. So you want to make sure that you get it pretty quick though, because you don't want it like putting its leaves out or anything. And what I did before, when I put them in a container like this, when they were dormant still, I would put soil in, and then I would put my bulbs in. I would label each one, unless they were like all the same. And when they started sprouting, when I seen that, you know, they start getting their little sprouts in them, I would actually take them out of this container and I'd put them in their own individual containers. So that did work for me, and it works really well. So we'll be back. Okay, so I'm back over in the growing area, and we have our begonia bulbs here. And this one here, I already started watering it some. This here's our other one. And one of the biggest things with begonias, is you don't want to overwater. So I basically water these at first until like water comes out of the bottom. And this is our other one here, the one that didn't wake up yet. So I'm just going to go around. And if you accidentally get it in the center, which I did, I'm just going to dump it out of the center, because I don't want to rot that center part out there. There we go. Okay. And you can take like a light mister if you wanted to, and just gently, you know, mist over the top of the bulb. But this should be enough to wake it up. It's worked for years now. I've been doing that, and it's worked for me. So I'm going to give these some more water here. Now, I don't cover mine with like plastic or anything like that, because I still want that airflow. And you can hear we have a fan running over here. And these are some other ones that have already sprouted for me. That one there, is that tall one, is actually going to bloom. That's a Bossa Nova begonia. And I'm actually going to be pinching that one to get it nice and full and bushy for me. And I have some over here. And I keep mine off of the concrete floor, because for one thing, the concrete floor can get cold, and I don't want the soil to get cold. I want that airflow to keep flowing. So I won't sit any plant right on the concrete floor. I give it like a barrier, or I get it off the floor with like little cups or something like that. And I have some other begonias over there that I've started as well that have sprouted. So that's how I start my begonia bulbs. And some varieties, I do start them in February, like these right here. They started sprouting in February. So definitely check on your begonia bulbs as they're going. And I've had some like here where they just refuse to go dormant over the winter. So they just kept going, and this one here is actually blooming. This is a non-stop Salomon tuberous begonia, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So when these start to sprout, when this one here starts to sprout, just, you know, cover it with your soil, treat it the same way as you do with these, and it works for me. That's how I do mine. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave them below and I'll try and answer them for you. Please don't forget to hit that little notification button. I'll try when I put a new video on. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.